The story of the golden calf is a pivotal episode in the Israelites' journey from Egypt to the Promised Land. Moses was on Mount Sinai receiving the Ten Commandments from God. Meanwhile, the Israelites grew restless and impatient. They had witnessed extraordinary miracles, including the parting of the Red Sea. Yet their faith wavered in the face of uncertainty and the absence of their visible leader. The people approached Aaron, Moses' brother, with a demand: "Come, make us a god who shall go before us." They yearned for a tangible representation of the divine, something to see and touch, a God who would provide them with a sense of security and direction. Their plea reflected a profound lack of faith in God's promises and a desire to revert to the familiar comforts of idolatry. Aaron, succumbing to the pressure of the crowd, instructed them to bring him their gold earrings. He melted the gold and fashioned it into the image of a calf. This was a potent symbol in the ancient world, often associated with fertility, strength, and the gods of Egypt, the very land from which the Israelites had been liberated. The Israelites readily embraced this new idol, proclaiming, "This is your God, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." This act of idolatry was a grave betrayal of their covenant with God. They had exchanged the invisible God who had demonstrated his power and faithfulness time and again for a visible, man-made object. Their impatience and fear had led them astray, causing them to forget the miracles they had witnessed and the promises that lay ahead. Meanwhile, on Mount Sinai, God revealed to Moses the Israelites' transgression. "Go down at once," God commanded, "for your people whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt have acted perversely." God's anger burned against them, threatening to consume them in his wrath. The Israelites had violated the very first commandment, "You shall have no other gods before me." Moses, descending the mountain, witnessed the depths of their depravity. They were engaged in revelry and debauchery, dancing wildly around the golden calf. The air was thick with the stench of burnt offerings and the sounds of drunken revelry. The once sacred covenant was being trampled underfoot as the Israelites abandoned themselves to a frenzy of idolatry and moral chaos. Moses, filled with righteous anger and grief, smashed the stone tablets inscribed with the Ten Commandments at the foot of the mountain. The shattering of the tablets symbolized the shattering of the covenant the Israelites had so carelessly broken. He then took the golden calf, burned it, ground it into powder, scattered it on the water, and forced the Israelites to drink it. Confronting his brother Aaron, Moses demanded an explanation. Aaron, in a moment of weakness and fear, had given in to the people's demands. Moses then called upon the Levites, those who remained faithful to God, to take up their swords and purge the camp of the idolaters. 3,000 men fell that day, a stark reminder of the severity of their transgression. Moses, ever the intercessor, returned to Mount Sinai to plead for God's mercy on behalf of the people. He acknowledged their sin, but implored God to remember his covenant and to show forgiveness. The story of the golden calf stands as a stark warning about the seductive nature of idolatry and the dangers of turning away from the one true God.